Hi and welcome to another episode. What we've got here is the PC Engine CoreGrafx Mini and its gamepad. As you know, it only comes with the one gamepad, but you do get 3 meters worth, or nearly, what was it, 9 foot worth of cable, nice and long. But like me, if you want to be able to just sit and be away from cables, it's nice to have a wireless gamepad. Now, 8bitdo obviously do one. They do make ones to match up for the 3 different types of console. Even says on the back here, PC Engine Mini, PC Engine CoreGrafx Mini, or the TurboGrafx 16 Mini. They do the different ones, but obviously the insides will be exactly the same. There's no difference. We can see from the picture there's a few differences with the actual gamepad that comes with it, but we'll talk about that when we get the box open. Nothing interesting on the sides. Let's get it out. Throw that out the window. Right. Let's have a look at the gamepad before we look at the rest of the things that are in there. Well, first off, the plastics do match up with the plastics of the gamepad. Let's move these together a little bit. You can see that. Obvious differences is there's no switches. They have turbo buttons. But these turbo buttons, from what I understand, are the same as the fastest speed of the turbo. And I have to say, when it comes to turbos, no matter the system, I can't think of anyone who actually sort of sets it to the middle setting. It's always off, or it's as fast as it possibly goes. I've never known anyone do it middle. I'm not saying people don't, I just personally have never met anyone that do. Let's have a look at the rest of it. Obviously this has the home button, which comes in handy, and basically all that does is, one, turn the gamepad on, and the other thing is that it replaces the need to be able to press select and run at the same time to bring up the menu system when you're already in a game. So as we can see, it's a little bit smaller in width. So I just line that up. Let's try to get this bit straight. There we go. Line this up. So yeah, there's a finger's worth. My little piano finger type. Not that I can play a piano, but anyway, my piano type fingers. It's not that wide really. In difference, there's more of a slope to the, around the edges. The buttons look just as deep, apart from maybe the select and run buttons. They do look a little bit taller on the wireless one. Thickness, how much does it match up? No, it's near enough like for like. And as for height, compared to where you actually hold it, we're not interested in this middle bit, just where you actually normally hold it. Again, damn near like for like. Right. Before pressing the buttons we play the games. They feel fine. It holds nicely in the hand. Let's go a quick compare. Well, the fire buttons feel the same. Yeah, the select and run buttons are a little bit taller and feel a little bit stiffer. And the D-pad doesn't feel as tough as this one, as stiff. Not that this is a bad one, it's just this does feel softer. The other thing I've just noticed as well is that the blue on here is a slightly different blue than what's on the original gamepad, which in itself is a different blue to what's on top of the console, but one of those things. Right, so let's just put them to the side for the moment. Okay, so I've had to re-record this little bit because the video file messed up. We've got a instruction manual, leaflet thing, in English and in Chinese, I believe. It does say that those two top buttons are the turbo buttons, and it says plug in the receiver chosen device, blue LED blinks once per cycle, press home button on the controller to pair, blue LEDs on both the controller and the receiver become solid when connection is successful. So that's the home button there. How to connect up to the switch, and then it says with the battery, so 180 milliamp hours, 18 hours per playtime, rechargeable via USB with 1 to 2 hours charging time, and controller turns off after 1 minute with no connection and 15 minutes if it's not in use. To receive a lost connection or connect a new receiver, turn on the controller, then press and hold select for 3 seconds. Blue LEDs start to rapidly blink, and then move the controller close to the receiver, and the blue LED becomes solid when the connection is successful. So that's that little bit, and then it comes with a charging cable, which is also a data cable because they might want to update the firmware on that thing. And then of course you've got your dongle, which fits just in here. Nothing too special about it. Have a look at my second episode on this gamepad, because there's a nice little surprise that you can do with it if you know what you're doing. Nice little thing, and let's test with what's going on. But before we do test it, I do want to mention that with the gamepad, if you press and hold the home button for a while, it will turn it off, as I can show you here. So that's it turned on. It's trying to find that dongle which I've not plugged in. But if you press and hold the home button, there we go, it's turned off. They don't explain that in the instructions. They never have. I'm pointing at the instructions, they're way over there. They never say it in the instructions, but that's true for all their gamepads I've discovered. At least the ones that I have, and I have this one, I have the SNES one, and I have the kit for the PlayStation Classic and the one for the NES Mini Classic type thing, you know. Anyway, so there we go for that. As I say, let's get testing it. Okay, so let's actually play around with the gamepad. So turn the console on, move you across as well so you can see it. PC Engine has got a little bit of a boot time to it. There we go, that was the last game I was playing. Going through the menu, it does seem fine. Let's start a game. Press run. Let's press a button as well to skip that. We all know the storyline. Guy needs to save pretty girl. Well, pressing the normal button, I can press it fast enough and it feels fine. I just hold the table button, he just goes absolutely crazy. But of course he's going so fast with the table button, you can't actually move. So it's not really one that you want to use the table button on this game. But it does work. Oh, I've lost all my armour. Oh no, I'm an old man. I know I'm getting lost in the gameplay of this, but it does play very nicely with this gamepad. It actually feels nicer to hold than this one, because this one is a little bit larger, but the edges are quite... I realise it's rounded that way, but that way it's kind of square feeling, and it's not quite as comfy, whereas this is moulded quite nicely into the hand. And of course I've lost everything straight away, but there we go. Right, let's go back to a different game just to make sure I'm not being silly and it's just that game. Let's play Gallagher. Oh, so it's me pressing the fire button as fast as I possibly can. And it's firing them off even faster with the turbo. Obviously it's like firing 2 rockets out at a time until one's getting used up. Yep, that feels fine as well. Yep, nice, definitely a nice gamepad. Now I will stop here and bring you back to the full screen of my fantastic hands. Now, the one thing I want to say is this is sticking out. So what I'm going to do in the next video is stick that inside there, because I believe it to be possible. Because the one thing is that this could be easily lost, and once it's there's nothing to press on here, it starts searching for a gamepad from the moment there's power. Unlike some of the other 8-bit dongles, you've got to press a connection button on there as well, or a sync button on there as well. There isn't one on here, so there's no trouble as long as it fits inside, of course, which I believe it should do, because there is this space here, and I have seen other people take this console to bits. So I want to stick that dongle inside, because the syncing stuff's all done from the gamepad. So get ready for that one. As always, happy gaming.